Brian Williams. T17 NUF CA Omber 2M16, 2010R2T0. 6U, Pat Horn, Stephanie Dryden and 3 others. 7 comments. 1 share. Wow. Comment. Comments. Active. Pat Horn. Serpentine belt for the arc reactor core cooling fans. This would be mounted above the reactor core as a cooling system. These both are stone replicas of technology preserved for after the flood. Mirror symmetry, not circular symmetry. Some current or ether or serpentine belt shows 4 vortices on top and 4 on bottom with mirror symmetry. It appears to me that this looks like water flowing in from the left side then going around 4 rotating shafts and finally whirling to suck in more water on right. Like in terms of vortex science and water, this would represent something like ether or water flowing into the column or out of the column. But either way, it seems to have one primary direction of effect and a second area 180 degrees opposite. See less. Active. Steve Whetstone. N302 Viom 2 Emorn 2S3 Og 31 Air 4T27U01 DPM. The pattern creates what's called a Hallbach array. It's an arrangement that would move water or ether or electrons or electron holes or plasma or anything. I've shown in this picture with arrows the direction of motion of medium. Presumably the medium that moves this way could be ether or some liquid or gas or plasma, and the device will work slightly different based on the medium filing the voids. The graphical design convention used is that when the rope tapers to a point, that indicates it's moving away from us and getting smaller in the distance. So this sits on top of a central cylinder column and has 8 smaller cylinder columns around it. You can imagine rope or an electric current or ether or water flowing and running around the calendar's columns. If you assume the ropes are carrying electrons, then using the right-hand rule you can denote some columns as positive charge and others as negative charge. Or alternatively, this could showing direction of electrons instead of static charge, and that would produce a Lorentz force motion of the ether or water. See less. Pat Horn. As the arc reactor creates the energy vortice, this could be the focal motive force to focus the energy into laser form. 1. Like. Reply 1D. Active. Pat Horn. Yes, good observation. Like. Reply 1D. Pat Horn. In background are server rack replicas for a quantum computing system, helium cooled, that's what the vents are.
and beyond. The last several 6,000-year cycles are
for health benefits, and people were claiming that the powdered mummy was very beneficial, and the practice dropped off when people just started using.
Compelling.
So my questions would be, naturally, how easy is it to replicate this device, and could it be used for medical plasma focus, intentional healing, and things like that?
Who built it?
Yeah, I believe so. The device, once you know how it works, building one is relatively easy. It does take an understanding of the buoyancy idea. That's why I went into that in detail in the presentation, because you don't see a lot of that in plasma work being done for like fusion research. They want to bottle the plasma in a magnetic bottle, but it turns out plasma will form into natural states, natural formations, when you bottle it in an electrostatic environment, which is what's happening here. The glass is an electrostatic environment that bottles the plasma, the mercury plasma. And so as the plasma flows through, like water flowing through a stream, it follows the contours of the ambient electric charge of the tube. And if you use mercury, it repels earth ground, so it will do that. But if you use like hydrogen or neon or argon, they're cation ions, and they don't repel earth ground. They attract earth ground, which makes them sink, so you won't get a plasma formation with those gases. So you have to use a gas that is an anion, like hydrogen. I mean, like mercury, like oxygen, like nitrogen, sulfur. If you look up, I've never built a tube out of any of these other ones, but I have seen oxygen and nitrogen in a bulb, and it has.
Pat Horn. In background are server rack replicas for a quantum computing system, helium cooled. That's what the vents are. 2. Wow. Reply 2D. Active. Steve Whetstone. Pat Horn. Yes, actually, they are not replicas and they are electron dissipators more than heat cooling. The rock gets charged with electrons or perhaps electron holes. The air flowing in the crevices and cracks carries the electrostatic charge, and this rock with lots of crevices and surface area radiates electrons well. Probably you want to wet it with a water or liquid membrane to help carry the heat and electrons away, or else to create an electrostatic barrier due to water surface tension. You could probably test and verify the rock is good for this by placing a large Crookes tube under it to shoot electrons into the base of the rock in a vacuum for a few hours to charge the rock surface with electrons. Without a laboratory with the ability to inject a lot of electrons into the rock, there's not much use for these devices, and they are like heat engines in world of no heat differential. But during the upcoming traversal of Earth and Sun across the galactic current sheet, the Earth will enter a region of space where it loses electrons in great flood to space. Around 2048, the proton count of space will go from current 3 protons per cubic centimeter to 10 protons per cubic centimeter. And then the Earth will want to lose 7 electrons per cubic centimeter, and they will collect on the surface and flow through these rocks to make them function again. Well, maybe. Here's a video on an Egyptian version of the Crookes tube that works well for softening rock and carving rock and charging rock with electrons. Or so it seems to me. But maybe not. I am just speculating. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=oekwky_g0pm William Armand Sosa, The Dendrolite and the Electric Universe. 8,262 views. Mar 15, 2019. 247. Dislike. Share. Save. The Electric View. 4.54k subscribers. Subscribed. The Electric View, EP 75, March 15, 2019. Today we are speaking to the amazing William Armand Sosa, who explains the function of ancient Egyptian electric technology, its relation to the electric universe, and its suspiciously absent place in history. Serpentine belt for the arc reactor core cooling fans. This would be mounted above the reactor core as a cooling system. These both are stone replicas of technology preserved for after the flood. 2 like Reply 2D active Steve Whetstone Pat Horn. 32 pins on each ring, I think is 32 one of the natural Perrad stabilities in plasma? I would expect this to match the number of spokes in a plasma Birkeland current. Here's an example of how a dense plasma focus fusion device works, and it uses 8 spokes in this video, but also they would work the same way with 32 spokes. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=yp me6rh8 law.
The electrodes are enclosed in a vacuum chamber, with a low-pressure gas filling the space between them. A pulse of electricity from a capacitor bank, an energy storage device, is discharged across the electrodes. For a few millionths of a second, an intense current flows from the outer to the inner electrodes and ionizes the gas. Instabilities first compress the plasma into dense filaments. These filaments are little whirlwinds of current. The sheath of filaments merges together into a dense pinch or focus, combining all the filaments into one. This filament kinks and twists itself into a tiny dense ball, only a few thousandths of an inch across, called a plasmoid. Instability in the plasmoid creates powerful beams in opposite directions. Positively charged nuclei stream in one direction and electrons in the other. Rapid compression heats the trapped plasma to billions of degrees, hot enough to fuse nuclei together to release fusion energy. In sum, the DPF operates by using electric current to induce a plasma state in a fuel gas. It then leverages a series of instabilities within the plasma to bring about controlled nuclear fusion. We call this focus fusion.